Volume 4, Number 5, Seeking Online Church. After a wonderful Saturday and relaxing, it wasn't hard to look for refuge as they were in the midst of a beautiful surroundings in God's country. Both Grace, Michael, mom, dad, and the kids rested very easily that evening. It was bright and sunny the next day, and Michael got online to seek refuge for an online church. It was a perfect morning. The sun was bright as he woke and sought an online church that he had suggested from Jolie, a manager at one of his other locations at the Airport Drive location at Miller's. Okay, so Grace, are you awake? Yes, I'm awake. What do you think about going to online church? Sounds great to me. Okay, so I'm going to look up the church that Jolie had mentioned to me, and we'll do that. Are we going to go online while it's live, or are we just going to the pre-recorded session? I think we could go to the pre-recorded session. Good. I just like to rest a little bit. Okay, so we can do this a little bit later. Sounds good. Okay, I'll just hold that link. As Michael and Grace were just getting used to the idea of adjusting, they know that their plans today were to leave. So they didn't want to get too comfortable in their surroundings. The kids were still asleep, and it was just nice to get the idea of kind of enjoying the comforts of their surroundings. Drinking a nice tall glass of water, Michael had enjoyed a relaxing weekend. He really didn't want to think about work. He didn't really want to think about all that stuff. But being as he did have the computer out and he had a solid Wi-Fi connection, he thought maybe he should explore some things. So he went online. Grace had decided to just relax into bed a little bit longer. The sun was bright, shining right through the window. This is so beautiful, said Grace. It's a perfect morning. It probably is chilly out, so, said Michael. Yeah, probably, said Grace. Still, the sun is bright. That's one thing about Ozark. The sun could be shining and it could be cold out, and you would never know the difference, said Michael. Yes, I understand, said Grace. That is true. Could be, should be, but that's all it could be. It's just as long as the sun is shining, said Grace. Michael was sipping on his water and relaxing and kicking back, enjoying the surroundings once again. Well, Grace, I know the kids will be up here shortly, so let's enjoy it while we can. We're going to be wrapping things up here shortly, so I want to take in as much as I can, said Michael. Grace said to Michael, so have you decided on the project? Not quite. No, why would you not decide on this? Said Grace. Well, it's an investment. Either way, we have to invest and we have to realize that we're getting involved in a big project. I don't know if I'm ready to jump in head first in anything right yet. Well, that's understandable, said Grace to Michael. Like everything takes time and energy, and I just want to put my energies into other things. I just don't know if this is the time, said Michael. Well, you can always put the project off till later, said Grace. Yeah, but the weather is not always, unfortunately, it gets hot as the summer grows. So if I'm going to do this time of year to do it, said Michael. That's true, said Grace. April's a lot easier than it is right in the middle of summer. You do have a decision to make, said Grace. Yeah, if I'm going to do it, The time is now, or just wait till next year. Yeah, and by next year, you might lose a lot of sales. That's true, said Michael to Grace. Well, if I do go forward with this, I'm going to take a lot out of what we sold on the old house. Oh, is that true? Said Grace. Yes, said Michael. Well, Michael, that's your call. Yeah, it is a big call, said Michael. Did you talk to Pastor West about it? No, not yet, said Michael. Why don't you give him a call? Is it too early? Said Michael. No, I don't think so. Why don't you call him? All right, I'll call him. So Michael decides to call Pastor West about his decision to expand his business. Pastor West, hi, good morning. Are you coming to church? Well, we're actually out of town right now, said Michael to Pastor West. Oh, you are? Yeah, it's our anniversary, as you know, and we decided to take a small trip out into the camping cabins. Oh, that's nice. So we're online going to church, and we figured we would just jump onto the online church this morning or later on this afternoon when we have time. I'm sorry to hear that you're not going to be at church, but you know what? We can always talk later. Well, I have a question. It's important. I have a decision to make about expanding my business, and I wanted your input, said Michael to Pastor West. Oh, you are? Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to retreat for a while. I'm making a big decision about expanding my business, and I'm on a time schedule, if you will. Oh, you're planning to expand your business. How big of an investment is this? It's not a huge investment, but it does involve building on to my business in addition. And I am kind of nervous about making any decision like this right now, said Michael. Well, listen, do you think it's going to profit your business and drive more income into your business? I mean, overall, do you think it would be helpful in overall expanding your business for the benefit of your company and your overall family and also help the church? Yeah, it would. It would definitely be beneficial overall. Well, then, have you prayed about it? I said to that being Michael, yes, I have prayed about it. Do you have peace about it? Yes, I do have peace about it. Well, I would continue to pray, and once you make that decision and you still have peace about this decision, then I would go forward with it. That's great advice, Pastor. I appreciate it. I'm going to go forward with this. Okay, Michael, we'll see you at church. I think we will. And when we see you next week, yeah, Pastor West, you will see us next week. Okay, great. I'm going to get off the phone. I have to go ahead and prepare my sermon, and I'll talk to you later. Excellent, Pastor West. Thank you for your time, said Michael, and then hung up. After that conversation, I think Michael felt a lot more confident about making a decision to go forward. It was just a matter of when and if he was going to go forward with his plans. And Grace came back in and realized that Michael just got off the phone. So I don't have to ask you if you talked to Pastor West, because I did overhear that you were talking to the pastor. So whenever you make that decision, let me know, said Grace. I'm confident you're going to make the right decision either way. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Okay, well, drink some coffee because I just started the coffee maker. I'm going to start packing the bags and putting in the vehicles. I think it's good to be ahead of schedule as I'm going to get the kids up and ready to go. And I want the kids to be prepared. I'd rather be home early than late. You're going to pack the car now? Well, I'm going to get everything ready, put it that way. I want the kids to have their bags packed and ready to go. Well, we still have the rest of the afternoon, and it's still morning. Grace, you're a little further ahead of your schedule. I'd rather spend the afternoon here if we can. Okay, well, if you insist on that, that's fine, said Grace. Besides, Mom and Dad have plans. We have plans. Besides, we have to get something to eat, too. How about wait till after we get something to eat and then relax a little bit? Then we can pack the cars. Okay. So they got to enjoy the morning, got the kids up and ready, and they went for breakfast. It's a local diner somewhere nearby, so they got to enjoy a large breakfast, pancakes, sausage, eggs, and really the kids were pleasant to enjoy as Melissa was in the high chair and so was Josiah. It was just a very nice atmosphere. A diner like that is a dime a dozen now. They're the old school retro diners, like on Route 66 kind of diner. That's really neat, said Grace. I haven't been to one of those. They don't have them in Pennsylvania quite like that either. Yeah, I'm sure they don't. As the kids were enjoying their breakfast, pancakes, you can always count on Elijah getting pancakes and sausage links. Yeah, really. I wouldn't go that far either with Jenny. Jenny's the same way. She likes sausage links and pancakes too. Mom and Dad were the same way, the same order. Pancakes, sausage links, and scrambled eggs. I mean, it's always the same order. As long as they have the orange juice and everybody's happy, the waitress was happy, everybody was happy. They soon finished up their meal and checked out and overtipped the waitress. You know, there was an old saying to always overtip the breakfast waitress. Life is good. That's great. So they got home. Since they had such a late breakfast, it was only fitting to relax a little bit before they packed up the cars. Of course, the weather was somewhat nice. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't hot. It was okay to throw the Nerf football. Even though Elijah wanted to play baseball and throw the baseball, it was okay to throw the Nerf ball instead. And Dad and Elijah threw the Nerf football as Jenny and Mom were playing with the kids, the babies, that is. It was a really relaxing day. Mom and Dad got to enjoy the lounge chairs that they got from Cabela's. Jenny, okay? Yeah, I'm okay. All this fresh air, I think it clears the lungs more or less. Oh, that's true. As they got to the point that they had to pack the car, it was almost time to go. Should we stay an extra day? No, we need to get back. As they packed the cars and realized that it was time to go, the great escape, or the refuge that they received from the camping grounds, they paid the money up for the whole time that they stayed there. They were ready to pull out. It was time to get back. As the kids might have some homework to do or some things to do, of course, all the work that needed to be done, whatever decisions had to be made about going forward with the business, it was in Michael's best interest to make a decision at some point. Maybe not right now, but at least he took the time to spend it with his wife and his family, and especially Mom and Dad. This trip was well worth it. Let's head home. As they got in their cars and drove home, it was obvious that this was just what they needed. The refuge that they needed. Grace and Michael finally made it home. Unpacked the cars was the last thing they were thinking about. It was just getting the kids down for a nap. Wow. They got all the kids down for the nap as they met with Jessica and, of course, Stacy, who was filling in for Michelle. Thank you for being here on time. Oh, you're welcome, said Stacy. And Jessica agreed. I'm the overnight person, so I'm on time. I'm glad I had a couple extra days off, too, by the way. So I agree, said Stacy. I'm happy you enjoyed your trip. So am I. As they got to lay the kids down, it was okay for the girls to take a break in the meantime. As they unpacked the car and got everything into the garage and started unloading the stuff, Mom and Dad, too, had to head home to unpack their things. Mom and Dad, thank you so much. We enjoyed our time with you. It was great. Bye, son. We love you. Bye, Grace. Thank you so much. We love you too. As they headed off and headed home, it was well worth the trip as Grace and Michael were relaxing and drinking water nearby in the chair in the kitchen, talking to both the girls, Jessica and Stacy. So the trip was nice? Yes, it was. It was just what we needed. We needed to relax. Maybe not a vacation, but it was definitely worth the trip. Well, I'm glad. We're going to go escape to our rooms for a little bit and think over some things. You girls going to be okay? Yes, we're going to be just fine. We're going to watch over the kids. In the meantime, since they're all sleeping and resting, you guys just take it easy. Thank you so much. It's been nice relaxing and talking to you for the few minutes that we have, said Jessica. Jessica, since you're the overnight person, if you need anything, just knock on the door. We're not going to bed. We're just going to sit back and talk. So as they finished talking to the girls, they went upstairs. So, Michael, have you made your decision? I'm just going to go to the Lord for a little bit and I'm going to take some time out. And this timeout is necessary to make a decision. When I'm ready to make a decision, I will let you know.